Welcome, folks. I'm Jaby, Koay, joined by ACHARA, KIRK.
Hi, guys.
We're talking about Daredevil Season 3. Just so you guys know, this is going to be a spoiler review. I imagine that most of you watching this by this point in time have already watched the show. This is not going to be a super in-depth review. It's going to be more general, but still, spoilers will come up. So if you haven't watched the show yet, watch it first and then come back to this. Daredevil Season 3. How does it hold up? I liked it. I thought it was a great season. I don't know that I liked it more than Season 1. I definitely liked it more than Season 2. I know that there's a lot of people out there who prefer Season 2 over Season 1. Not that they prefer, but they enjoyed it more. For me, Season 1 was a profoundly excellent season of just any show in general. Like, it was one of my all-time favorite, immediately one of my all-time favorite shows. Like, I thought it was so well done. It was everything I wanted out of a superhero anything, like a show, movie, whatever. Like, it did so much that I wanted between great acting, interesting story, interesting characters, interesting places to take those characters, interesting things to do with its superhero. And so Season 2 had a high bar to hit, and it didn't hit that for me. It actually went down. Also because of the fight scenes. Like, I thought the fight scenes weren't as well executed in Season 2, except for the stairwell fight. But Season 3, I feel like redeemed it. It was at least nearly as good as Season 1, in my opinion. Yeah. Obviously, you're not going to hit the freshness that Daredevil Season 1 had, but
I actually enjoyed it more than Season 1.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a popular opinion or not, but
a lot of people like season 3.
Yeah,
so.
I just enjoyed a lot of the backstory about Daredevil that was explored more in this.
Yeah.
So for me, that was interesting.
Obviously, there's 13 episodes, and I don't want to like dissect every single episode. I want to keep this as general as possible. I like that Wilson Fisk became more of a prominent character again, and like it was almost like coming full circle because it was about, you know, Daredevil and his old nemesis once again. Mm-hmm. And I liked the exploration of where Wilson Fisk had his dirty little fingers, you know, how he had his hand in every pot. I really liked how, you know, because oftentimes you'll hear characters talk about how this guy's always 2 steps ahead of me, 3 steps ahead of me, and you're like, okay, but it's not really feeling that way in that movie or show. Here, it actually felt that way. Like, somehow Wilson Fisk was really outsmarting everybody and thought of every little thing. And it would surprise you sometimes, like this person would get killed, or this thing would happen over here, that this person would get blackmailed, and you're like, how? He like covered all his corners. It became a little bit cartoonish in a way, because it's like he had so much reach and power. I'm like, what was he doing in jail at all, if that's the case? Like, how did he not just walk straight out the front doors? Like, what is with all the theater if he has this much reach? That I started to question a bit as the show went on, but I still bought into it. I love the performances. I love where the story was going. I liked Matt Murdock's struggle. I liked that they beat him down from Defenders, right? Like, he was at a very low place and had to work his way out. And so he really had a place to go as a character, and I'm glad they did that. It was like he was reborn. And I thought that was really cool.
Talking about characters that I liked, there was a new character on this season that became my absolute favorite, and that was Sister Maggie, who we find out later is Matt Murdock's mother. Yeah. And what I really liked about her was, like, she was so nuanced, because she had this really tough exterior, but she was actually really loving underneath, and she was very strong, and you felt all of this with a single look. And I was like, oh my god, I'm in love. I'm in love with this lady. Right. She's amazing.
I liked where Matt Murdock's character went after discovering that it was his mom. What always surprises me about Daredevil is that the angst of the show doesn't bother me. Daredevil's whole thing is almost like, woe is me, the entire show. And it doesn't bother me for some reason. I don't know why. Like, I think it's because it's so effectively done. It feels so real, at least the way he goes through it, that I don't question it. I don't question his stance on anything. Like, all his reasons he cites for being upset, I buy into. And like his relationship with God, his relationship with the church, with the priest, how he felt about the priest, and then, you know, his mom, all that stuff. Like, all of it is done effectively that I just buy into it. Maybe at the end of the day, I'd like more levity. I'd like Foggy's jokes to be as good as they were in Season 1.
Right.
But it worked for me. You know, on a character level, it worked for me. Acting-wise, Sister Maggie, Joanne Whaley, I thought she did a great job.
Yeah.
Charlie Cox, I like him a lot. I think that his performance is the reason why so many of us fell in love with the Daredevil show. Right. Because he does such a good job of being that person. Everybody else on the cast as well. I mean, Eldon Henson, I think you had mixed feelings about.
I did. Just sometimes I felt like I didn't quite buy his performance, but sometimes I was like, yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I like Deborah Ann Wall as well.
About Eldon Henson, like, I think I see what you're saying. Character-wise, I like what they wanted to do with him here, where they were giving him different places to go that was different than the previous seasons. Because he was kind of the same note after a while in previous seasons, including, I think, Defenders, where he's the lawyer. He's like, no, Matt, you shouldn't do this. Yeah. And it's like that the whole time. And now it's like he's actually going to these different avenues and trying these different things. You know, I thought that was interesting. But, I mean, actually, I'm thinking about it, I've always liked, even though he was playing the same note, I did like his character still. I liked his frustrations that he was expressing. It felt real. Like, the conflict felt real. And, yeah, Deborah Ann Wall, Karen Page, I thought she did a good job. Like, she's become more and more likable for me with each subsequent season, even with this. I didn't appreciate 40 minutes of one of the episodes going into her backstory. It felt like filler. Even though it was good to find out, like, more about her, where she comes from, what informs her as a person today. Like, I did appreciate that, but I feel like it could have been accomplished in 20 minutes, and you would have gotten the same, if not more. Because
if you're watching it and you have to ask yourself, like, why?
Yeah.
Then that's not really achieving its purpose.
There were some really cool moments, action-wise. Like, that episode, there's a scene where Bullseye is kicked off the balcony of where the organ player is, I think, and you just see the stunt guy fall into the ground. I'm like, my mouth literally dropped when I saw that. It was one of the few times I rewound and played it again because I'm like, how the hell did they do that? You see dude's face, you see him flailing. It looks like a real person hits the ground. It may have been a dummy or some good CGI, but like, it looked real to me. You see it, contact made, and dude falls. And then there was, of course, the motif.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which is, they have a long fight scene that's all one take, right? In season 1, it was the hallway fight scene that we all know about. Season 2 is a stairwell fight scene. Here was the jail fight scene. And it goes on for like a long time, and there's dialogue in between. I'm like, how the hell are they doing this? I don't know that the fight, like, emotionally got me as strong as the other 2 seasons did. But it was certainly a technical marvel to watch. It was certainly amazing to watch. I just don't know if the choreography was quite, and the execution of the choreography was quite as effective as I wanted it to be. I could totally tell when they were swapping in stunt doubles for the actual actor. Like, that was obvious to me. But it's me, so I'm gonna see that. I feel like even someone with a cursory understanding of like stunt doubles is gonna pick up on it, but whatever. It was certainly a technical marvel to watch. Just like there was a shot like that in True Detective season 1. It was amazing. It had a helicopter and everything. So season 1 of True Detective was amazing. But I liked that aspect of it. I have mixed feelings about it. It's like it drew attention to itself because it's this one long take, and there are certain things they had to do to achieve this. But at the same time, I'm like, this is one long take. This is amazing. They're having fighting and dialogue and conflict and all this stuff that's happening. And there's like, it's still pretty amazing at the end of it. All the way to following him outside the jail until he gets in the car and fade out. Are you kidding me? It was great in that regard. Like, technically it was great because the fight scene was not surpassing what we've seen before in terms of just execution for, you know, choreography and whatnot. I think that's what hindered it from being even better for me, emotionally. Bullseye. We haven't even talked about Bullseye.
Oh, yeah.
Bullseye was, I thought, well casted. His performance is great. He's written well. Like, you really got to dive into who he is, what makes him who he is. So he's a really layered villain.
Because there is that aspect of like, he was made to be like that, because there is a part of him that wanted to learn how to join society as, you know, a good citizen, and he didn't want to succumb to his darker nature. But Wilson Fisk was like, no, I've got plans for you, boy, and they're not good. And then you see how that happens. So you do feel for him. I think that's what I liked so much about this season, is that you get to see so many of the backstories of these characters, like Matt Murdock, Karen Page, Wilson Fisk, Bullseye, all of that. So,
Wilson Bethel is the actor who plays Bullseye, and he does such a profoundly good job as this guy. As like, you buy into him as this person he's got something else going on all the time, and you don't quite know what it is, but you see it there, and you see he's got layers even without seeing the backstory of him as a kid. I feel like you still kind of get that troubled childhood. It all comes through in his performance. So he does a great job. And he's got a huge list of acting credits, so that explains why he was able to bring all that to the front. Jay Ali is the guy who plays Ray Nadeem. He is someone I have mixed feelings about. Season 3 overall was strong, but if I had to pick a weak spot, it's him. He, for me, didn't move me as emotionally as I wanted him to. Like, there's this scene when he's delivering his farewell, goodbye confession, and then Karen watches it, and she cleans herself up. And I'm like, I want those feelings. Give me those feelings, show. Like, I don't feel it because I didn't buy his performance as that guy. There was something missing, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it wasn't researched enough. I don't know, like you were saying at the very beginning, and this is not something most, Westerners are gonna catch, but his Hindi wasn't strong, you said.
I mean, I don't speak Hindi, but I've watched enough Bollywood films to kind of be able to hear it and go, oh, there was an accent.
I didn't even know it was Hindi because of the lack of nuance in his accent. And so it sounded American, or whatever. It just didn't sound authentic. There was something missing in the performance. Like, I bought what his character was trying to do, where his character was coming from. It was well written. It just, like, the performance just wasn't quite working for me.
I feel like sometimes he hit the notes.
Yeah.
And sometimes he was just shy of them. I don't think he's a bad actor.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes he just didn't quite get there. He was so close.
Vincent D'Onofrio, who was also the cockroach in Men in Black, he does this good job of almost being over the top, but he pulls it back just enough.
Yeah, like he's having fun with that character.
Yeah.
Like it is a character.
Yeah.
He's got the voice, he's got the gravitas and the physicality.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what I was doing
Yeah.
there.
I like him. I like what he does with it. The only thing was at the end, after Bullseye's broken and then Daredevil finally beats him, and Daredevil has this like almost borderline crying, angry monologue at him, going, "You're not gonna break me. You're not gonna change who I am."
Yeah.
And Daredevil doesn't kill him. There was this weird moment, blocking wise. It just was strange because he says all this, and Daredevil goes, oh, and he goes to the couch for a second, right? And then Vanessa comes over and says, "It's okay, baby. We'll last forever and ever." And she walks away, and Daredevil comes back and goes, "Turn yourself in. You promise?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he took a break, and then he comes back so that Vanessa could have her moment. It just was just a little strange, the way that was organized. And I just wonder what exactly went into the planning there. Like, if they were just exhausted by the time they got there, or if that was very deliberate. Like, no, this is exactly how we want to do this. You know what I mean? Like, you've been on set. I've been on set where it's like you're so close to the end. You're like, okay, how do we make this work? Okay, we'll just do this. Okay,
yeah,
it works. All right, and you put it out, right? I've been there. I've ended short films that way. It's funny because watching Daredevil season 1, the epic fight between Fisk and Daredevil was where I was like, it just, something was somewhat missing there for me. I don't know what it was, but something was a little bit missing. And then here it was the same kind of thing where I'm like, just something was missing. I don't know what it was. But overall, I love the show. I love the season. I thought it was much better than season 2, and not better than season 1, but I really enjoyed it. And various aspects of it, the nuances of it, the layers of it, I really liked it.
It actually made me like Daredevil more. And I don't know if this is like a popular opinion, because I wasn't the hugest fan of season 1 of Daredevil. I was like, yeah, it's okay. And I felt like a lot more of my male friends really enjoyed Daredevil.
There's a lot of people who feel that way, actually.
Yeah, and whereas, because Jessica Jones came out close to that time, so I enjoyed Jessica Jones season 1 more. He did it.
I watched Daredevil season 1, and then Jessica Jones came out, and I watched Jessica Jones. For some reason, I psyched myself into thinking that it was going to have the same kind of... I was looking for more of Daredevil's tone. I was looking for more of that, and I didn't get it from Jessica Jones. I got the complete antithesis, this kind of weird female noir thing, and I'm like, what? The hell is this? I was just mad. I was mad from the first episode. And then people kept saying it's good, and I went back. I got up to episode 3, I think, and I'm like, fuck this show. Like, I do not like this. And then someone was like, no, you gotta finish it. It gets better. And then I did. I'm like, okay, Kilgrave is good.
It's awesome.
But I don't know that it made the show worthwhile for me. Whereas Daredevil, like, it speaks to me. You know? But you're not the only one. Like, there's a lot of people who don't like Daredevil season 1. They're like, oh, it's boring or whatever. I'm like, yeah, you don't know anything. One of the things that I love to tell people that is probably not a great selling point is Daredevil is the only show where you'll see your superhero on a couch for an entire episode healing. He's beat down. Like, he gets beat down in season 1. In season 3, I can't remember what happens in season 2. But like, he gets his ass handed to him a couple times, and I'm like, gosh, like, what other superhero do you see go through this much and still get back up and still go? Like the Rocky thing. Like, it's not how hard you can hit, but how hard you can get hit and keep going. Like, he keeps going. I love that.
Yeah.
It's very motivating. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Be honest, be verbose. Check out ACHARA KIRK. She's on the social media. I'm on the social media as well. Please follow me there. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our other reactions, reviews, and short films. I am Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.